Hello, everyone. So I talked about this many times before, and I talk about it many times to come. And as you know, over the last few years, I particularly have come to this point that there is too much power in Dublin, in terms of Dublin and Dolew and Shannon there, and there's too much power in Dublin that needs to be given back to the people. And how you do that, pretty much, is give it back to the counties, let the local authorities govern themselves in a way, like a state or a municipal authority. It depends compared to what it is at the moment, where councils are pretty much puppets of the government, and councillors and chief executives are pretty much puppets of the government. They can't really say no to the government. We won't do. And that's the problem in this society. And how we do that too, and we give it back to the people, because I do think we're missing out on the whole identity of this country. What the whole, well, as you know, in 1937 the constitution was changed. They wanted to give people more power, more say in the democracy, and that should be the way it is. Because at the moment in time, we have a few people who are selected. Let's be fair, some of them are elected, but a lot of them are selected civil servants and stuff who we don't know who they are. We don't know what they're about, etc. It's a whole charade of a thing, pretty much. And there's too much power in Dublin, and it needs to be given back to the people. And how we do that is by giving it back to the local authorities, give back to the people, so the people can vote. Because the power in Dublin is too immense, and particularly to such influence how they could influence the whole country. And I think the days of centralised government are over pretty much. That one government in Dublin can tell everybody in the counties, in the countryside what to do. And you could call that rebellion, but in modern Ireland, considering what the situation is at the moment, I would nearly say that's justified to take back power from Dublin, because Dublin is obsessed with power. They're obsessed with control. They're obsessed in controlling people and controlling people's lives, telling them what to do, how to think, etc. And people need to, and councillors and chief executives and stuff need to think about taking back the power, and the people need to think about taking back the authority in terms of being the judge, jury, and executioner. And I generally do think that, because it's the same with this deal with the European Union democracy deal. It should be put to the people. Everything nearly should be put to the people at the end of the day, because we elect our TDs every 5 years, our councillors every 5 years. We don't have much say. We can argue with our councillors and our TDs about what to do, what to vote here, to vote and vote and what, and but at the end of the day, it should be up to the people to decide. And again, people can decide a lot more if it was locally based instead of in Dublin. What the fuck do they care about what people think in Cavan? Let's be honest. So that's why I'm saying the people of Cavan should have a say what happens in Cavan and vote on it, because that's true democracy, when the people have ultimate say and ultimate authority. Because I think the whole identity of politics in the world now, and particularly in the West, is politicians have too much power, have too much influence, too big in the head in the world. And that's to be totally honest with you. That's just to be straight up with you, because I think the people are sovereign. The politicians nowadays don't give a damn about sovereignty. They couldn't give a damn about anything. The only thing they care about is money and power. And I think we have to fight against that, because it's pure evil what's happening in the world. And what we see, with the course that we're going in the world too, is very bad, and particularly in Ireland. It'd be the complete destruction of this country if something's not done sooner or later. And that's to be totally straightforward with people. So that's what we need to get out of centralised government and down to regular, in terms of the people taking control. Of course, TDs and stuff have a role in a national parliament in Dublin, etc. But I do think the people in Cavan should have the authority to rule over themselves, look after their own affairs, without Dublin telling them what to do and how to feel. I don't believe in that. I generally don't believe in that anymore, particularly with the actions of the government the last few years. You couldn't trust them with the power that they've been given, that we pretty much have given away as the people of Ireland to the government. And we have to get rid of this centralised government, because that's as simple as that. It's a course. They have too much power, and again, the whole identity of politics nowadays with politicians, etc. They're all too busy worrying about power and money. That's all. They don't care about the people, and that's the huge problem in society. Years ago was good for the nation, What was good for the nation, not so much nowadays. Money and power is their god, and that's the thing. And the simple fact of the matter is too, they think they are God. In Dublin, they do take the high up civil servants in different departments, our politicians, our ministers that sits in Doyle and Shannon. They generally think they are God, that they can judge the living and the dead pretty much, but they can't. As simple as that. And we've seen this time and time again, they're desperate to take God out of the picture. And they will suffer for that, let's put it that way, because you can't, you simply can't. No man can do it. But as I say, that's the way I've seen it in the last few years, and is the way I'm going to see it. And if I ever did one for as a councillor, hopefully in 2029, we see what happens. But yeah, that'd be my top priority, is to take power back from Dublin and give it to the people of Cavan. Let them govern themselves. Trust the people. in what they want and what they feel and what they believe in, because that's the thing. Giving power to people in Dublin, they couldn't give a hoot about Cavan. Why would you do that? Let's put it that way. And that's my main goal in life. And of course, as councils are important, but I do take the council's jobs and TD's jobs are just to reinforce what the people take, what the people vote, etc. And I know it's given up a lot of power, it's given up a lot of money, but I think it's the best for society that the people have ultimate say. And that's generally what I feel, because I think this idea that just giving unlimited power to politicians, to one individual, goes to their head. And I really do think that. Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.